Hey, I'm going to show you 4 ways that beginners make playing guitar much harder for themselves than it needs to be. And I'm going to be showing you 4 ways of the quick fixes to do that. Let's start with number 1. As a beginner changing chords, your temptation is to want to reset your fingers and lift them up each time to make every single new chord that you're learning. And you will be able to change chords a lot faster and a lot smoother if you concentrate on the fingers that you don't need to move. So for example, A minor to C. You can keep this index and middle finger down and bring the ring finger up and leave these here. Now the temptation is physically your body doesn't like doing these chords, it's new, so therefore you want to raise your fingers and place it down, raise them, place it down, raise them and place it down. And mentally your brain is going, well, this is one thing and this is another. So you've got that battle of mental and physical happening. And what you'd like start to train yourself to do is the reason why pros make it look easy and like they're barely doing anything is because they have worked consistently at the economy of motion. So small movements to achieve the results that they need. The smaller the motion, the more accurate you're going to be and the less effort you actually need to put in. So from this A minor to the C, the ring finger just comes up. You can see it's a very small movement. If we take F major 7 or the beginner's F going to the C, it's just a small movement of these fingers moving up and down. The temptation is to do this, lift them right off the fretboard and then put them down again. So please work at thinking, how little do I need to move the fingers? How much do I need to do? And just work on that. Another common one is A minor to E minor. Okay, I've seen students, they'll make the A minor and then they'll lift up and they'll use these fingers for the E minor. Bit of a no-no. Instead, A minor to E minor, look, these fingers are here, so be smart. Move the middle and ring finger up and keep everything close. Keep the index finger ready to be able to go to action. A to E is another one. If you do your A this way, lifting everything up, there's E. Instead, take the index finger for a walk, keep it close and move the middle and ring up. If you do your A this way, which I recommend for future being able to play things called bar chords, you just move this middle and ring finger up and E down. So rather than flicking, keeping it nice and close to those strings. When you make a bar chord, you need to move your thumb into this position round. You probably know that already. But what you might not realise is that if you're changing from an open chord, for example a D chord or a C or an A or something along those lines, to a bar chord, how much is your thumb hanging over the top? If your thumb is hanging over the top like this, then when you make that change to your bar chord, you've got such a journey to make pushing your wrist forward. Just look how much I'm having to do. And one thing, the reason why when people are strumming and they're beginners and they pause to bar chords is not just about fretting the bar chord out, but about the journey that the thumb needs to take in order to make the bar chord effective. So here's food for thought. When you do your D, I'm not saying that you need to bring your thumb right over the top, but if we just bring that D a little further around the neck, then when it comes to making the bar chord, the thumb needs to travel less to become halfway around the neck. And in fact, more than halfway around the neck. And by the way, if when you're doing your bar chord, your thumb isn't halfway around the neck in this position, it means that you're being able to press and pinch into those strings is going to be compromised and you're not going to be able to do it as well. So that thumb position and moving the wrist forwards is essential to be able to perform a quicker chord change from D to B minor or any open chord to a bar chord. Let's look at a slightly more exotic one, but it does come up, and that's E to C sharp minor. Okay, so when you're doing your E chord, if your thumb's over here, and then you've got to move not only the thumb and the fingers, but also the thumb, also frets, you have to move up to fret 4, it's a big old movement to do. Instead, bring the thumb just halfway round, and as you come to your bar, you've got less distance to travel. So the lesson here is, let's just look at C to F. The lesson here is set the thumb up in a better position because you know a bar chord is coming, rather than defaulting it to thumb hanging over the top and then having to make that big journey. And granted, yes, as you get better at a player, it won't matter as much. But in those beginner stages, you want to train that thumb to stay just over halfway round that neck, even with those open chords, because when it comes to doing the bars, you'll be able to get there quicker. Playing the guitar is a physical exercise, there's no doubt about that. And in comparison to an instrument like the piano, where you just press a key and it makes a perfect noise, the guitar does require physicality in order to be able to play it. It also makes the body stress out. And I've seen it with countless students where they stress out and put stresses into their body that actually makes playing the guitar harder and can potentially create aches and pains, especially throughout the back and the shoulders. And this is number one of that absolute bad habit that I see in students. And it's doing this with the elbow. When they play and there's putting all this tension down the arm. And the reason why we do that is because mentally we think this is a hard task. So physically it should be a hard task. So we stress out, we raise the shoulders, we stick this elbow out. But if you just keep that elbow into the body and keep it into the rib cage and dropped, slightly relaxed, not leaning on the leg, right? That's going a little too far the other way, but just keeping it into the body, then you're going to be much more relaxed down this forearm area. Okay, so once again, no any sort of pressing it out, even if it's just a centimetre, just a little bit, right? We don't want anything like that. We just want to let it lay and chill out. And that will help all of the muscles in your shoulder and your forearm chill out a bit, because you've got enough to do with the fingers on that hand to not be putting extra pressure through the elbow. By dropping the neck of the guitar like this, and I am exaggerating, you're raising your shoulder and you're creating much more tension coming through the arm. So dropping the guitar like this is generally a no-no because of how much harder it makes it and the pressure coming through your right hand and your fingertips. If you raise the neck up so that it is at least 90, if not just a little bit higher, not only does it bring this hand closer to you so you can see and see the chords that you're making and check this hand, it's not as far away, it is much better for your posture, much better for keeping the back straighter as well. So just keep the angle of the neck a little higher and it's a lot more relaxing. Just try it now. Between doing this, deliberately push the guitar down, and if you want to make it even worse for yourself, stick your elbow out, as you might have seen in my previous video, and then bring this up, get it nice and close to you, do the same thing, and you should feel a much better relaxation, especially down your shoulders and your back. So as you can see, it's easy for our brains and our bodies to make these things harder than they need to be. A lot of it is that thing that we keep coming back to, economy of motion, and making sure that our posture and the way that we are with the guitar and holding the guitar is as relaxed as possible for our body. Just because we're doing something that is difficult and has its challenges, it doesn't mean to say that we want to put that stress into our body, which is what we're doing when we're sticking our elbow out or lifting the guitar up or taking our fingers off and putting them down again. Don't listen to your brain. Your brain is an idiot, right? Instead, listen to your body.